About the authors. Dominic Abrams, Ph.D., is Professor of Social Psychology and Director of the Center for the Study of Group Processes at the University of Kent. His research focuses on the psychological dynamics of social exclusion and inclusion within and between groups. He is CEO-Director and founder of the European Research Group on Attitudes to Age, which designed the European Social Survey Round 4 module on experiences and expressions of ageism. http://www.eurage.com. He is co-editor with Michael A. Hogg of the journal Group Processes and Intergroup Relations and, with Melanie Killen, of the Journal of Social Issues, 2014, special issue on social exclusion and children. He is a past president of SPSSI, fellow of the Academy of Social Sciences and vice president of the British Academy. Leili Abuladze MSc, is a PhD researcher in demography and a project manager at the Estonian Institute for Population Studies, Tallinn University. Her PhD research focuses on population aging and its consequences in Estonia and other European countries. She is a national representative at the Academic Network of Experts on Disability, ANED. She has previously attended a research master program in population studies at the University of Groningen, the Netherlands, and the European Doctoral School of Demography. Else Marie Anbakken has been an associate professor in social work at Mälardalen University, Sweden, since 2014. She was born and brought up in Japan, which continuously influences her life and research. After the PhD thesis, 1997, an ethnography focusing on filial duty and eldercare in the Japanese society, she has continued with research on later life, in both explicitly and implicitly comparative studies. From 2000 to 2008 and 2012 to 2014, she belonged to the Faculty of Social and Welfare Studies at Linköping University. In 2006 to 2011, she became the coordinator of the Swedish-Japanese Research Network on Aging and Care. In 2008 she moved to Japan for a full-time professorship at Kwansei Gakuin University, School of Human Welfare Studies, where she did 4 years of teaching and researching in gerontology, end-of-life care and international social work. She continued to deepen these research profiles, focusing on existential needs in later life as well as transnational issues. In a globalizing world, the aging experience in many ways transcends national borders, which is crucial to gerontological social work. Liat Ayalon received her PhD in clinical psychology from the Illinois Institute of Technology. She did her internship and postdoctoral training at the University of California, San Francisco. She is currently a full professor in the School of Social Work at Bar Ilan University. She is currently focused on 3 major lines of research: ageism, discrimination based on age, the intersection between formal and informal care, and social networks of older adults. Her work has been funded by the German Israel Foundation, the Israel Science Foundation, the National Insurance Institute of Israel, the Israel National Institute for Health Policy Research and the Israel Ministry of Health. She is currently the chair of a cost action on ageism, IS 1402, and the chair of a Marie Curie Innovative Training Network on Ageism, Euro-Ageism, both funded by the EU. She is also a member of the WHO Core Group to Combat Ageism. Boaz M. Ben David Ph.D., is an assistant professor at the Baruch Ivcher School of Psychology in the Interdisciplinary Center, IDC, Herzliya, where he heads the Communication, Aging and Neuropsychology Lab, CAN Lab. Dr. Ben David completed his PhD in cognitive psychology at Tel Aviv University. He was a postdoctoral fellow at the University of Toronto and later a scientist at the Toronto Rehabilitation Institute. He currently holds adjunct faculty positions at the University of Toronto, Department of Speech-Language Pathology, and at the Toronto Rehabilitation Institute, University Health Networks. His research interests include the premise that reductions in the quality of the sensory input in older age will result in less efficient cognitive functioning, specifically when communicating in adverse environments, such as a noisy restaurant or a badly lit room, the complex interplay that governs the perception of emotions in spoken language in unique populations, speech perception in adverse conditions in aging and for second language speakers, and promoting better and more valid ways to test cognitive abilities in older age and other special populations. Jürgen Bengel is professor and chair of rehabilitation psychology and psychotherapy at the University of Freiburg, Germany. He received his doctoral degree in psychology in 1986 and in medicine in 1987. Dr. Bengal's research focuses on psychological distress in patients with chronic somatic diseases, and he conducts health services research in psychotherapy, psychiatric diagnosis, coping, rehabilitation psychology and health psychology. He is head of the Rehabilitation Multidisciplinary Research Network, head of the Center for Methodology Support and head of the Psychotherapy Outpatient Treatment Center in the Department of Psychology. Yael Benyamini Ph.D. attained her bachelor's degree in psychology and biology and her master's degree in social psychology at Hebrew University in Jerusalem and her Ph.D. in health and social psychology at Rutgers University. She is currently a professor at the Bob Chappell School of Social Work, Tel Aviv University. She is an elected honorary fellow of the European Health Psychology Society. She has published numerous articles and chapters and has recently co-edited the book Assessment in Health Psychology. Her research focuses on self-regulation in chronic diseases and aging, women's health issues and health promotion. Her main focus is on subjective perceptions of health, aging and illness and their effects on coping with health threats and ultimately on the psychological and physical outcomes. Her studies provided evidence for the intricate ways in which one's subjective perceptions of health, age and aging are interrelated. Ehud Bodner Ph.D. received his bachelor's degree in psychology and criminology as well as his Ph.D. in psychology at Bar Ilan University in Ramat Gan and his master's degree in clinical psychology at Tel Aviv University. He served as the head of the research branch in the mental health department of the Israel Defense Forces. He is currently an associate professor at the Interdisciplinary Department of Social Sciences and the Music Department at Bar Ilan University and an active clinical and medical psychologist. His research is currently focused on ageism and aging and dying perceptions and on emotional complexity and emotion recognition and regulation through music in adulthood and in old age. His studies in the field of gerontology provide evidence for the intricate connections between age, aging and death perceptions, emotion regulation and mental health aspects. Wilco P.H. Bosems earned his MSc in Psychology and Bachelor in Applied Gerontology at Fontys University of Applied Sciences in Eindhoven. He works as a lecturer at the same university and coordinates the project Seniors in Class that facilitates several departments in participation of older people in relevant bachelor programs and the minor healthcare and technology. Christopher Brad Ph.D. is Honorary Research Fellow at the School of Psychology, University of Kent. His research focuses on various aspects of intergroup relations, with a particular interest for predictors of social discrimination and mental health in an intergroup context. Sandra C. Buttigieg, M.D., University of Malta, Ph.D., Aston University, Birmingham, UK, FFPH, UK, MSc, University of Malta, MBA, University of Malta, is Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Health Services Management, Faculty of Health Sciences at the University of Malta. She is also a consultant in public health medicine at Mater Dei Hospital, Malta. Prior to this post, Professor Buttigieg also held the position of medical superintendent of a 1,000-bed geriatric hospital in Malta. She lectures in health services management, public health, family medicine and management. Her research is mainly in health management in the areas of performance management, organizational behavior, operations management and research and public health. She is currently on the editorial boards of Frontiers in Public Health, the International Journal of Human Resource Management, Journal of Health Organization and Management and the Journal of Geriatrics and Gerontology Research. She is currently a national delegate for Malta in a cost action on ageism, IS 1402. José M.S. de São José has Ph.D. in Sociology. He is currently an assistant professor in the Faculty of Economics at the University of Algarve, Portugal, and a researcher in the Research Center for Spatial and Organizational Dynamics, University of Algarve. He has researched on social care for older people, exploring themes such as reconciliation between work and care and experiences of providing family care and preserving dignity in later life. His research has been funded by the Portuguese Foundation for Science and Technology and by the European Commission. He is currently interested in the following research topics: ageism, active and healthy aging and sexuality in later life. He is currently a national delegate in a cost action on ageism, IS 1402, and a member of the Ibero-American Research Network on Aging and Society. Red Iberoamericana Interdisciplinar de Investigación en Envejecimiento y Sociedad. He is also a member of the Observatory of Families and Family Policies, Institute of Social Sciences, University of Lisbon. Wouter de Tavernier, Ph.D., is a postdoctoral researcher at the Center for Comparative Welfare Studies, Aalborg University. He works on issues of social policy and social gerontology, particularly on issues of older workers, retirement, pensions and eldercare. His Ph.D., awarded by Aalborg University, particularly focused on the role of the family in social policy for older individuals. Before, he was a research assistant at the Center for Sociological Research, University of Leuven, researching pension protection in Belgium. He also holds an M.A. in Sociology and an M.Sc. in Social Policy Analysis from the University of Leuven. Pnina Dolberg, Ph.D., is a researcher in the fields of immigration and older age. She obtained her Ph.D. in social work at Ben-Gurion University of the Negev and was a postdoctoral fellow at Louis and Gabi Weisfeld School of Social Work at Bar Ilan University. Her published work concerns phenomenology of middle-aged and older immigrants, mental health among immigrants, policy concerning older immigrants and phenomenology of middle age. Israel, ISI. Doron LLB, Hebrew University of Jerusalem, Israel, LLM, Washington College of Law, Washington, D.C., USA, Ph.D. Osgoode Hall Law School, Toronto, ON, Canada, is the head of the Center for Research and Study of Aging at the University of Haifa and the past president of the Israeli Gerontological Society. He specializes in the fields of law and aging, social policy and aging, human rights and ageism. Professor Doron has written extensively on topics such as law and aging and human rights of older persons, e.g. Doron, I and Apter, I, 2010. The debate around the need for an international convention on the rights of older persons. The Gerontologist, 55, 586-593, and is the editor of key books in the fields such as Theories on Law and Aging. The Jurisprudence of Elder Law, Springer, 2009, and Beyond Elder Law. New Directions in Law and Aging, Springer, 2012, with Ann Soden. Finally, Professor Doron is also the founder of an Israeli NGO, The Law in the Service of the Elderly, which was involved in key strategic litigation regarding rights of older persons in Israel. Margita Derzaik M. Farm, UNIV, Mag. Phar. Of Clinical Pharmacy, attained her master's degree in pharmacy at the Faculty of Pharmacy and Biochemistry, University of Zagreb, Croatia. In 2017 she has finished postgraduate specialist study in clinical pharmacy at the same faculty. Currently, she is working as a community pharmacist at Zagreb City Pharmacies, Zagreb, Croatia. She is a member of Croatian Chamber of Pharmacists and an active member of Croatian Pharmaceutical Society, Executive Committee member of Section for Community Pharmacy. Also, she is mentor for trainees and students accredited by the Croatian Chamber of Pharmacists. She cooperates with the Center for Applied Pharmacy at the Faculty of Pharmacy and Biochemistry, University of Zagreb, on the project development of community pharmacists' competencies. Her professional and scientific interests are in the field of clinical pharmacy, development of pharmacists' competencies and medication use safety, especially in the use of potentially inappropriate medication, PIM, in older adults. Hadas Errol, Ph.D., is a research associate at the Communication, Aging and Neuropsychology Lab, Ken Lab, at the Baruch Ivcher School of Psychology in the Interdisciplinary Center, IDC, Herzliya. Dr. Errol completed her Ph.D. in cognitive psychology at Ben-Gurion University. Her research interests include the influence of the quality of sensory information on cognitive performance, fluid intelligence training in aging and visual attention and aging. Simon Chester Evans, Ph.D., is a Principal Research Fellow and Head of Research with the Association for Dementia Studies at the University of Worcester, UK. Simon has developed a substantial portfolio of research projects and publications that span a wide range of topics including housing, health, social care, the arts, assistive technology, care homes and communities. His role includes applying for research funding, managing a team of researchers and ensuring that research findings are disseminated to key audiences. Recent research projects include an international evaluation of the Meeting Center's support program for people with dementia and family carers and an exploration of the ability of extra care housing to respond to changing care needs. Simon is part of Tandem, a doctoral training center run in partnership with the Center for Dementia, University of Nottingham, and funded by the Alzheimer's Society. He is a Fellow of the National Institute for Health Research School for Social Care Research and a member of the British Society of Gerontology and the ESRC Peer Review College. Daniela Fialova received her PharmD and PhD degrees from Charles University in Prague, Faculty of Pharmacy, 2006, and award certification in clinical pharmacy at the Institute for Postgraduate Training in Healthcare, Prague, Czech Republic, 2001. She has been the head of the University Educational Center in Clinical Pharmacy, Charles University, since 2014, and researcher and academician at the Department of Geriatrics and Gerontology. First Faculty of Medicine and Department of Social and Clinical Pharmacy, Faculty of Pharmacy, Charles University, since 2003. As an expert in medication safety and inappropriate prescribing in older patients, she participated in EU projects, ADHOC, Aged in Home Care, 5th FP, 2001 to 2005, and Shelter, Services and Health in the Elderly in Long-Term Care, 7th FP, 2009 to 2014, and now is involved in the EU project EUROAGEISM, 2017 to 2021, MCSFINT, Horizon 2020. She is an invited fellow of the Inter-RAI Research Corporation, chair of the scientific subgroup Aging and Changes in the Therapeutic Value of Medications in the Aged that develops research works in inappropriate prescribing in older patients in Eastern and Central Europe. Chair of the WG1B subgroup Healthy Clinical Strategies for Healthy Aging of the EU Cost Action IS 1402 board member of the section of Clinical Pharmacy, Czech Pharmaceutical Society and Czech Medical Association J.E. Perkine, and board member of the European Society of Clinical Pharmacy Research Committee. Her professional interests include clinical pharmacy in geriatrics, evaluation of the medication efficacy and safety in older patients, changes, pharmacological, physiological, accompanying aging, risk management in pharmacotherapy and analyses of polypharmacy and inappropriate prescribing in the old age. She received several awards for her professional work, e.g. French Award in Pharmacy, Scientific Award of the Czech Medical Society J.E. Perkine and Scientific Award of Dr. Paul Janssen for Pharmacoeconomics and Drug Policy. Anne Fleming has Ph.D. in nursing and was qualified as an occupational therapist in 1983 from Queen Margaret College, Edinburgh. While working in the NHS, she completed her master's degree in inclusive environments at the University of Reading. Her doctoral dissertation explored stakeholder perceptions of homeliness in care homes for older people at the University of the West of Scotland. She is interested in two strands of research: project work in which the end user of services or products is involved in the creation, evaluation or redesign of the service or product, and projects designed to improve practice and service delivery. Sue Gardner has M.Phil in clinical psychology and undertook a first degree in psychology in London and completed her clinical training in Glasgow. She has worked, taught and supervised in clinical services for 40 years as a practitioner psychologist and as a service manager. She held various positions in the British Psychological Society from 1985 to 2011, including chairing the Division of Clinical Psychology, the Professional Practice Board and the Ethics Committee, and was president in 2009-2010. She worked as clinical manager for specialist psychological services for adults and older adults in Oxfordshire prior to her retirement. Her clinical specialisms as a consultant clinical psychologist were addictions, complex needs, the impact of organizational change on service users and staff, and the provision of care. She now works as an independent consultant and lecturer. Nina Georgiantsi has M.A. in Human Rights and European Social Protection. She is a trained lawyer specializing in human rights, Université de Strasbourg, France, and social protection, CU Leuven, Belgium. Nina Georgiantsi has been working since 2010 for AGE Platform Europe, AGE, the European network of organizations that represent over 40 million older people in the continent. Since 2014, Nina has been also doing a PhD on human rights of older persons at the National University of Ireland in Galway. Her professional experience includes policy analysis, project coordination and strategic implementation in the NGO sector. She is currently in charge of the organization's policy and advocacy work in relation to non-discrimination and human rights of older persons. She has previously been involved in a large number of EU research projects in the field of aging and contributed with legal expertise to various EU dossiers. She participated in the Council of Europe drafting group, which finalized in 2013 a recommendation on older people's rights. She has spoken on various occasions on the rights of older people, including in the frame of the UN Open-Ended Working Group on Aging. She has represented AGE in the Fundamental Rights Platform, the Global Alliance for the Rights of Older People and various expert groups on the rights of older people. Adaret Guertz-Maiden MSW, is a PhD candidate in the School of Social Work, Bar Ilan University, and was awarded a full presidential scholarship for excellence for her dissertation. Her dissertation focused on sexual and relationship satisfaction among community couples. Currently, Adaret is a member of the Aging Research Lab, headed by Professor Liat Ayalon, where she is involved in research projects regarding sexuality and romantic relationships in later life. In clinical practice, Adaret specializes as a sex therapist in the Sex and Couples Therapy Unit in Mayer Medical Center. Trish Hafford-Lechfield Ed.D., M.A., is Professor of Social Care at the School of Health and Education, Middlesex University, London, UK. Trish is a qualified nurse and social worker and had a long career in social work, 1985 to 2003, including 10 years of managing statutory social care and supported housing for older people. Her research interests are very diverse. She has a long history of pedagogical research and interprofessional learning where she has led many local and national initiatives which co-produce learning with older people and students. Trish engages with the arts and humanities to enrich her teaching, practice and research. Her main research interests are in educational gerontology and the quality of social care, leadership and management and organizational development and LGBTQI issues in aging and social work. Trish is co-chair and founder member of an international network of professionals interested in sexuality and social work. Recent research includes a national study on mental health hate crime, transgender students in higher education, the experiences of care workers in relation to older people's self-harm and suicide and organizational responses to disabled employees in the National Health Service. Moritz Hess has Ph.D. in sociology. He is a researcher and project coordinator at the Institute of Gerontology at the TU Dortmund University. He received his Ph.D. at Mannheim University and his M.A. in sociology from the Free University Berlin. He furthermore holds an MSc in gerontology from the Free University Amsterdam. His research foci are comparative welfare state analysis, the generational conflict and pension policies. His work has been published in several journal articles and book chapters. In addition, he edited a book on the policy shift towards active aging. He has won research awards from the German Society of Gerontology and Geriatrics, the UN and the Intergenerational Foundation. Astrid de Hontheim, Ph.D. in Anthropology, 2007, was at Fieldworks in West Papua, Remote Oceania, SE Asia, and Central Africa. She is currently lecturing in Belgium, formerly in Canada, U Ottawa. Her research is focused on traditional healers, Papua, Uganda, Belgium, missionaries' strategies among forest people, invisible content of the oceanic artifact, rituals related to disasters and misfortune, and Western shamanism, drum, ayahuasca, with self-involvement. She is also a yoga instructor focused on energy, prana, channeling. Stefania Iolinka, Ph.D., is researcher and policy analyst in the Health and Care Unit of the European Centre for Social Welfare Policy and Research, UN-affiliated, where she is primarily working on projects related to chronic diseases, long-term care and equity in access to care. She holds a Ph.D. in health economics, with a specialization in frailty and multimorbidity in older age and care integration in developed health systems. She has extensive experience working in large international research projects with comparative and interdisciplinary focus as well as with both quantitative and qualitative research methods. Her publications include numerous peer-reviewed book sections and policy-oriented contributions on topics in the fields of health economics, health and long-term care policy and public health. Loredana Ivan has Ph.D. in sociology. She is Associate Professor at the National University of Political Studies and Public Administration, SNSPA, Communication Department, Bucharest, Romania. She is teaching topics related to interpersonal communication and interpersonal communication mediated by technologies. She is part of the Aging Communication Technologies Project, http://actproject.ca/, based in Canada and co-applicant of ACT Project Research Grant. She is also part of the Cost Action IS 1402 Ageism, a multinational, interdisciplinary perspective. Loredana Ivan was a Marie Curie Scholar, 2003 to 2004, at the University of Groningen, Interuniversity Center for Methodology, ICS, and a visiting researcher at Humboldt University from Berlin, Department of Social and Organizational Psychology, 2012 to 2013. She is the author of Celle mai importante 20 de secunde, The Most Important 20 Seconds, 2009, and co-editor of 2 other books in nonverbal communication area. Jean Jackson has Ph.D. in occupational science. She is professor at University College Cork, where she holds the positions of head of the School of Clinical Therapies and head of the Department of Occupational Science and Occupational Therapy. Previously, she was an associate professor at the University of Southern California, where she co-authored the Well Elderly Lifestyle Redesign Program and was involved in various nationally funded research studies addressing health and wellness among older adults. Her current research interests include understanding how diverse groups of people or individuals who may not fit within the particular social, historical and political constraints of their communities create meaningful lives. Specifically, she focuses on the challenges that heterosexism, disableism and ageism play in people's daily lives. She is a fellow of the American Occupational Therapy Association and on the editorial board of Journal of Occupational Science. Håkon Johnson, Ph.D., is professor at the School of Social Work, Lund University, where he is also the director of studies at the Ph.D. program. He heads the Lund-based research group Care for Older People, Conditions and Everyday Realities under the National Network for Social Science Research on Aging and Eldercare. His research has focused on images of aging and older people, pensioners' organizations, crime and abuse as social problems for older people and nursing home scandals. He has published extensively on different aspects of ageism and has during later years devoted his main interest to different aspects of eldercare. He is currently responsible for the research project Improving Everyday Conditions by Reconceptualizing Elder Care Through the Lens of Disability Policies that is funded by the Swedish Research Council for Health, Working Life and Welfare. Clary Krakula has Ph.D. in sociology. She is an associate professor in sociology at Karlstad University. Krakula's thesis from 2006 problematized embodied perspectives on women's aging. In her subsequent research, she has looked at gendered aging, age and gender in work organizations, age discrimination and dance among older adults, which has resulted in a number of books, chapters and articles. In several nationally and internationally funded research projects, she has emphasized issues of extended working life, and work and entrepreneurship in later life, and has shed light upon temporal sociological perspectives on age and aging. She runs AgeS, the Swedish research network on age, where she focuses on developing critical age studies. She is a board member of Cost Action 1409 on extended working life. Ingrid Kummer Unev, Mag. Phar. Of Clinical Pharmacy, works as a community pharmacist at Zagreb City Pharmacies, Zagreb, Croatia. She received her degree in 2016. She is a member of Croatian Pharmaceutical Society, Executive Committee of Section for Community Pharmacy. She cooperates with the Center for Applied Pharmacy at the Faculty of Pharmacy and Biochemistry, University of Zagreb, on the project development of pharmacist competencies that are necessary in daily work in public and hospital pharmacy, research in progress. Her interest focuses on potentially inappropriate medication use in older adults, pharmacy competencies and improving pharmacy services in community pharmacy. Angela Kidd has Ph.D. in nursing. She is an associate professor in gerontology. Her clinical background involved nursing older people in acute care and working as a care home manager. Her interest is the oldest old. Her Ph.D. was focused on the experiences of older people living in a care setting. She has written and taught on gerontology and dementia courses, from workshops to leading a nurse specialist program in gerontological nursing and a master's course in later life. She also teaches internationally and has led and partnered several Erasmus intensive programs. She has led several funded projects, one of which involved the creation of bespoke philosophies of care underpinning practice development with staff in nursing homes, one on a 7-country project on attitudes to nurses who work with older people, and one on teaching student nurses to interview older people on their experiences of health and social care. She has co-edited a gerontology textbook and has over 50 publications. She is co-founder of the Aging Research Network at Edinburgh Napier University. Annika Tagazada Larsson, Ph.D., is a senior lecturer at the Division Aging and Social Change at Linköping University, Sweden. She received her doctorate in aging and later life in 2009, with a dissertation on the meanings of becoming old for people who have lived with physical disabilities for all or most of their lives. Since then, her research has mainly focused on questions and issues at the intersection of disability studies and social gerontology. Theoretically, Her main interest concerns age norms and how such ideas about what is appropriate and normal at a certain age are applied in different contexts and by different actors. Between 2011 and 2016, she was linked to CDR, Center for Dementia Research, which was a large 6-year program led by Professor L.C. Hayden, with the ambition to conduct social scientific and humanistic research around persons living with dementia diseases. On the 1st of January 2015, she was part of the project Improving Everyday Conditions by Reconceptualizing Elder Care Through the Lens of Disability Policies, led by Professor Håkan Johnson. She is actively involved as AMC member in the Cost Action on Ageism, IS 1402. Marcel Lepi Ph.D., was born on the 30th of September 1951 in Zagreb, where he attended elementary school and high school. He graduated from the School of Medicine, University of Zagreb, in 1975. He finished postgraduate study in public health and epidemiology and also study in healthcare and information systems. In 1982 he passed the specialistic exam from Social Medicine and Healthcare Organization. He completed his internship in Dom Zdravlja Železnara in Zagreb. He worked in a primary health center in Rovinj in 1978, in the Croatian Institute of Public Health from 1979 to 1984 and in the Andrija Stampar Teaching Institute of Public Health in Zagreb in 1984. In 2002 he acquired a Master of Science from the Zagreb University Medical School and in 2003 became primarius. In 2009 he acquired a doctorate academic degree from the Faculty of Medicine University of Osijek. He is a member of Croatian Medical Chamber and Croatian Public Health Association. He is author of about 300 professional and scientific papers. Sajid Lev Ph.D. is a researcher in the fields of old age, ethics and social work. Her studies deal with the ethical dilemmas and conflicts experienced by social workers that work in long-term care facilities for older adults, as well as the emotional ramifications of these experiences on the social workers. These studies have been conducted both qualitatively, by examining the social workers' conflicting obligations between the residents and organizations, and quantitatively, by exploring moral distress among social workers in long-term care facilities. As a part of the quantitative study, a unique questionnaire was developed and validated in order to assess moral distress among this population. In addition, cluster analysis was conducted in order to identify a typology of long-term care facility social workers, based on environmental and personal features and the association of these clusters with moral distress. Her fields of research also include ageism, deinstitutionalization processes in services for older adults and the maltreatment of older adults in long-term care facilities. Eugene Loos received his Ph.D. in Social Sciences from Utrecht University in the Netherlands. He is a professor of Old and New Media in an Aging Society in the Department of Communication Science at the University of Amsterdam and an associate professor of Communication, Policy and Management Studies at the Utrecht University School of Governance in the Netherlands. He is a member of ASCOR, Amsterdam School of Communication Research, http://ascore.uva.nl/! and the Netherlands Institute of Government, NIG, https://www.utwente.nl/n/nig/. As a linguist, he has conducted research and written several books, book chapters and journal articles in the field of organizational, intercultural, communication and the use of new media. Currently, his research focuses on the role of old and new media related to accessible information for senior citizens, in order to guarantee their inclusion in our society. He investigates the relevance of age for 1. Senior citizens' digital information search behavior. 2. The impact of textual and visual signs in health information on their cognition, affection and behavior, and 3. The use of digital, sport, games for their physical and social well-being. He is currently the co-chair of the WG Media of a Cost Action on Ageism, IS 1402. Maria Luisa Lima Ph.D. is Professor of Social Psychology at ISCTE University Institute of Lisbon. Her research focuses on the application of social psychological processes to health and environmental issues, in particular on the importance of social bonds and identities. She was president of the Portuguese Association of Psychology and is honorary professor at the University of Bath. Gali Malkin Ph.D. is a postdoctoral fellow at the Baruch Ivcher School of Psychology in the Interdisciplinary Center, IDC, Herzliya. She received her PhD in social organizational psychology from Bar Ilan University. Prior to her PhD studies, she completed her BA degree at Ben-Gurion University and MA degree at Bar Ilan University. Her dissertation focused on the interactive role of social identity and threat in predicting gender harassment behaviors. She is currently the research manager on the SINAI, Social Interaction in Aging Immigrants, research team, focusing on the study of aging, health and well-being from a multidisciplinary perspective. She is also investigating the social outcomes of the intersection of age and migration. Eugenio Mantovani LLM works at the Multidisciplinary Research Group on Law, Science, Technology and Society, LSTS, at the Vrije Universiteit Brussels, VUB, where he is active in pursuing a number of research interests, including in areas such as data protection, privacy issues, and problems related to aging and human rights law. On one hand, his research focuses on privacy and data protection law, in particular in the area of healthcare delivery. In this area, Eugenio is interested in the use of patient data, in the applications of e-health and m-health technologies, and in the impact of technologies on vulnerable groups or groups with special needs. In this connection, Eugenio has developed specific expertise in e-aging and in other human body-related questions raised by technology. On the other hand, Eugenio has been active in research into issues associated with aging and in particular about the human rights status of older persons. His PhD research brings together these two research paths in an investigation of privacy and data protection law from the point of view of older persons in the digital age. Sibylla Marcus PhD is an assistant professor in psychology at ISCTE, University Institute of Lisbon, Portugal. She is a member of the EURAGE Research Group, an international project investigating attitudes to age across Europe and in charge of the design of the Ageism module in the European Social Survey. She has participated in several projects related with aging, e.g. aging of people with mental disabilities, technology experience cafes, I Am Ages, intervention program to fight ageism in children, and supervised several master theses related with this field. She has published a number of papers related with aging in high-impact scientific journals since 2005. She is the author of the essay Discrimination of Older People and a Regular Presence in the Media regarding issues of aging and ageism. She has participated in equal initiative projects FE Formemprego and Rumo e Qualidade, and in 2011 she was a contributor to the FUTURAGE roadmap. From 2012 to 2016, she was the scientific coordinator in ISCTEIUL of the FP7 European Project SI for Age, Social Innovation for Active and Healthy Aging. Mary McDonnell Nodden is a registered nurse and midwife and lecturer in the Department of Nursing and Healthcare, Athlone Institute of Technology, Ireland. She received her doctorate from the College of Medicine, University College, Dublin, in 2007, with a thesis on the epidemiological profile of child health in Ireland. Since 2010, she has been involved in research studies with the older person in collaboration with different disciplines, such as dementia and nutritional status, and examination of social capital and the older person in Ireland. Presently, she is involved in a review of rural transport and its importance for the older person in collaboration with a local link program and the factors which have influenced the health and well-being of centenarians living in Ireland. She is also actively involved in developing educational programs and supervises research in the area of disability. She is also a member of two cost actions, namely, Ageism, IS 1402, and Reducing Old Age Social Exclusion. Collaborations in Research and Policy, RoseNet, CA 15122. As part of her work in socio-economic engagement and external stakeholder partnership, she encourages a collaboration with the older person both in a voluntary and educational capacity. She is also actively involved in getting AIT recognized as an age-friendly university and is a member of Roscommon County Council Age-Friendly Alliance, developing a strategy to enhance the quality of life for the older person in the region. Within AIT, she chairs the Research Ethics Committee and is a member of the National Ethics Committee on the National Forum for the Enhancement of Teaching and Learning in Higher Education. Joanna Mendina holds a Master's in Social and Organizational Psychology from ISCTE, Lisbon University Institute. She was a member of the ISCTE team as partner of the European Project SI for Age, Social Innovation for Active and Healthy Aging, and has developed reports about aging programs and intervention programs to fight ageism among children, adolescents and policies at national level and across several European countries. She is presently doing her PhD in the field of ageism, aiming to further understand how ageism develops among children and how we can assess it in a proper and effective way. Susan Metz MSc, holds a master's degree in health sciences. She works as a project manager with Summa Healthcare of Summa College, a school for vocational education in Eindhoven, the Netherlands. She is the coordinator of the Seniors in Class project that supports the participation of older people in relevant programs for vocational students of various departments. Barbara Mikołajczyk is a professor at the Faculty of Law and Administration of the University of Silesia in Katowice, Poland, and the head of the Department of International Public Law and European Law. She has been involved in the Cost Action on Ageism, IS 1402, and in works of the Polish Commissioner for Human Rights Group of Experts on Older Persons. She is a member of the Odysseus Academic Network for Studies on Immigration Asylum in Europe. She was also appointed as the ad hoc judge in the European Court of Human Rights, 2012 to 2014. She has authored books and articles dedicated to human rights of various categories of vulnerable persons, as migrant workers, asylum seekers, children, ethnic minorities, sexual minorities and older persons. Laura Nagel M.A., is a researcher, project manager and graduate student with the Department of Aging and work at the Institute for Gerontology at the University of Vechta, Germany. She holds a BA in Media Science and Sociology from Ruhr Universität Bochum and an MA in Sociology from the Free University of Berlin. Since receiving her degree in 2012, she has worked in multiple research and project management positions in Germany and Belgium. Her research focuses primarily on aging workforces, extending working lives, competence development in small and medium-sized enterprises and ageism at the workplace. Her work has been accepted for various conferences, workshops and summer schools at national, European and international levels and published in several scientific and applied journals and books. Pirjo Nikander has Ph.D. in social science. She is a research director of the doctoral school and a member of the Gerontology Research Center in the University of Tampere, Finland. After completing her master's, in Finland, and her Ph.D. in social science, as a member of the Discourse and Rhetoric Group in Loughborough University, UK, her academic experience and expertise comprise research in the areas of aging, the workforce, interprofessional decision-making, meeting interaction and the baby boom generation. She has always had a keen interest in qualitative research methodology, research ethics and evidence and research design. Nikander is the author of numerous articles and handbook chapters on discourse analysis, social constructionist epistemology and qualitative methodology, as well as the editor of books on women and aging and interview research. Currently, she is PI for a research project engaged in utilizing and developing qualitative longitudinal research methodology. Anne Numhauser Henning is professor at the Faculty of Law at Lund University, Sweden, and the former pro-vice-chancellor of the said university. She has been the head of the Norma Research Program since 1996 and initiated the Norma Elder Law Research Environment in 2012. She has written widely on labor law, especially employment law and non-discrimination law. A more recent field of research is social security law in a European integration perspective. Yuval Palgi Ph.D. is a clinical psychologist, the head of the Department of Gerontology and past head of the Center for Research and Study of Aging in the University of Haifa, Israel. His research focuses on psychological aspects of aging, as manifested by well-being, optimism and subjective perceptions of age or distance to death. He examines how psychological aspects of aging enhance favorable psychological environment that regulates the effect of life adversities, post-traumatic reactions and aging processes. He has published more than 100 papers and chapters in peer-reviewed journals and books. Jolanta Perik-Bialas has Ph.D. in economics. Since 2016 she has been adjunct professor at Jagiellonian University in Krakow, full-time, and in the Warsaw School of Economics, Poland, as well. She is currently focused in her research on ageism and age discrimination in the labor market, reconciliation care and work and use of indicators in aging research like Active Aging Index. She received the Leslie Kish Scholarship and participated in the survey sampling program at the University of Ann Arbor, in Michigan, USA. She coordinated and participated in many national and international projects funded by the Polish institutions, the European Commission, the Norwegian Research Council, the OECD, the UNECE and the World Bank, and as well has been co-author of many publications on aging, active aging and ageism. She is the chair of Working Group on Ageism in the Labor Market of a Cost Action on Ageism, IS 1402, and a Polish representative in the Cost Action Reducing Old Age Social Exclusion, CA 15122. She is also a member of the Expert Group on Active Aging Index, UNECE, and the Evaluation Board on AAI Seminars, 2015-2018. Amanda Phelan RGN, RM, RPHN, RNT, BNS, MSc, PhD, is an associate professor in the School of Nursing, Midwifery and Health Systems. She also holds the position of Associate Dean for Global Engagement, CO Director of the National Center for the Protection of Older People and Subject Head of Older People's Nursing. Amanda's research and publications focus on elder abuse, abuse of vulnerable adults, person-centered coordinated care, missed care in nursing, ageism and resilience in caregivers of people with dementia. Amanda serves on the AIGNA Committee, the Policy and Procedures and National Advisory Committees of SAGE Advocacy and Support for Older People, the Board of Directors of Third Age and the Fitness to Practice Committee of the Nursing and Midwifery Board of Ireland. Amanda was also appointed to the Expert Advisory Group for the Citizens' Assembly on Aging and is a visiting professor in Norwegian University of Science and Technology, NUTU, and an International Research Project Advisor in NUTU and the University of Toronto, Canada. Maria del Carmen Requena PhD, attained her bachelor's degrees in psychology and education and obtained her PhD in neuroscience at the Complutense University in Madrid. She was postdoctoral research fellow at the Spanish Magnoencephalography Center and intern clinical psychologist, PIR. Currently, she is assistant professor of psychology at the University of Lyon. She has designed and developed the Memoria Measure, Better Memory, program for older persons and directs the Aging at All Ages Scholarship, giving scientific support to public and private projects and programs related to aging. She also directs the EEG Laboratory for the Study of Human Development at the Inter-University E3 campus. She has published several articles related to aging, both in the field of neuroscience and in the field of psychology and gerontology. Her main focus is on long-term memory and embedding emotional cognitive programs in daily life. Her current research grants include a project on adult reasoning. She develops joint research with Professor G. Rebick on paradigm change in psychostimulation programs for older persons at the Johns Hopkins Center of Aging and Health. She also works on intergenerational educative methodologies applied in the realm of higher education. Klaus Rothermund has Ph.D. in psychology, University of Trier, Germany, 1998, and Venia Legendi in psychology, University of Trier, Germany, 2002. Since 2004, he has been full professor and chair of psychology at the Friedrich Schiller University of Jena, Germany. He is a member of the Scientific Advisory Board of the German Aging Survey, DEAS, and a member of the Board of Directors of the Center for Aging Research Jena, ZAJ, Zentrum für Alternsforschung Jena. His current research interests include quality of life and well-being in old age, volunteering and civic engagement, health and health behavior, social relations and social integration of older persons and comparative aging research. He has served as a principal investigator of the Cost Action IS 1402 Ageism since 2014, Workgroup Chair, and Aging as Future, Volkswagen Stiftung, since 2009, Speaker and Chair. He has published 10 monographs, edited books and special issues and has more than 170 publications in scholarly journals and books. He is currently editor-in-chief for Cognition and Emotion. Jonathan Shemesh is a graduate student of cognitive science at Ben-Gurion University of the Negev and a research assistant at the Israel Gerontological Data Center. His interests focus on the intersection between cognition and society. At present, he is conducting research on the links between personality, morality, and economic attitudes. At the Israel Gerontological Data Center, he is involved in research on the psychological and biological determinants of healthy aging. Sharon Shiavitz Ezra Ph.D., is a senior lecturer at the Paul Beerwald School of Social Work and Social Welfare at Hebrew University, where she received her doctorate in 2005. In 2008 she served as a postdoctoral scholar in the Center on Demography and Economics of Aging, at the University of Chicago. Her theoretical and research agenda focuses on loneliness experienced in the second half of life. Her studies on loneliness have pursued two main directions: identifying risk and protective factors for loneliness and addressing the harmful consequences of loneliness. In 2015, she initiated a large multidisciplinary research proposal that was funded by the Israeli Ministry of Science, Technology and Space, entitled Do Interpersonal Relationships Get Under Your Skin? Biophysiological Mechanisms by which the quality of the interpersonal social milieu affects the health of older adults. Another research topic of Dr. Shiavitz Ezra is the phenomenon of ageism. Following her scientific work in this field, she served as a principal investigator of a large research project on ageism in the healthcare system in Israel. Since 2015, she has been actively involved in the Cost Action on Ageism, IS 1402. Since 2016, she has served as the head of the MSW program at the Paul Berwald School of Social Work and Social Welfare at Hebrew University. Sigur vh Sigur 9 Ardaughter PhD, MPH, SW, is an associate professor and the head of the Faculty of Social Work, University of Iceland. Her PhD, awarded from the School of Health and Welfare, Jönköping University, Sweden, focused on the situation of community living older people, 65 years of age and older, in Iceland. Her research focuses mainly on formal and informal care of older people, social networks of older adults and social policy. She was a social worker at the geriatric department of the University Hospital in Iceland for several years and the administrative officer of the Red Cross Reykjavik division and participated in implementing different resources for older people such as group living facilities, daycare centers and a nursing home. She is a national delegate in the Cost Action on Ageism, IS 1402, and in the Cost Action on Reducing Old Age Social Exclusion, CA 15122. She has participated in different Nordic research projects such as REASSESS, the Nordic Center of Excellence, Reassessing the Nordic Welfare Model, and SIA, Social Inequalities in Aging, the Challenge for the Nordic Welfare Model. Sigurve is responsible for the Icelandic part of the Nordic Master's Degree Program in Gerontology, NordMag, a multidisciplinary and jointly implemented degree program taught in collaboration of 4 Nordic universities. She is a board member of the Icelandic Gerontological Research Center. Fredrik Snellman has PhD in social work and licentiate's degree in social policy. He is a university lecturer and researcher at the Department of Social Work at Umeå University in Sweden. Some of his recent work has appeared in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence, 2017, Nordic Psychology, 2016, and the International Journal of Sociology and Social Policy, 2014. He is currently involved in the interdisciplinary GERDA, Gerontological Regional Database, research initiative, aiming to investigate a wide range of topics affecting people in older, 65-plus, ages. He is actively involved in the Cost Action IS 1402 on ageism and is a committed spokesperson for raising societal awareness of ageism, e.g. management education for leaders in geriatric nursing in Sweden, pensioner organizations' annual meetings. Benny Spanier has BA in History and Jewish Studies, Hebrew University, Jerusalem, MA in Religious Studies, Tel Aviv University, LLB, Interdisciplinary Center, Herzliya, LLM, University of Haifa, and PhD, University of Haifa. His research focuses on ageism and the rights of older persons in the international arena. Currently, he is an associate researcher in the Center for Research and Study of Aging at the Department of Gerontology, University of Haifa. He published a number of articles regarding the rights of older persons, e.g. Spanier Benny, Doran Israel, ISI, From Well-Being to Rights, Creating an International Older Persons Rights Index, IOPRI, 24, 2, The Elder Law Journal 245, 2016, Spanier Benny, Doran Israel, ISI, Milman Savon Faina, In Course of Change? Soft Law, Elder Rights, and the European Court of Human Rights, 34, 1, JLI 55, 2016. He has also been involved in the establishment of IOPHRI, the International Older Persons Human Rights Index, and has studied key European institutions such as the European Court of Human Rights and the European Social Commission. Justina Stepinska, Ph.D., is a researcher at the Freie Universität Berlin in Germany. She studied sociology and law at the Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland, where she defended her thesis, in sociology, on the topic of age discrimination in labor market in Poland. Her major research focus includes the issues of work in later life and the life course analysis. Currently, she coordinates an international research project on older entrepreneurs in Poland and Germany, in cooperation with researchers in Sweden, financed by the German. In previous research project, she studied topics related to reconciliation of work and elderly care, age discrimination in work, healthcare and education, the transformations of life courses in post-communist countries and wage inequalities in German labor market from the perspective of age, gender and migration. She is a board member of the European Sociological Association Research Network on Aging. She held fellowships from the University of Washington in Seattle, USA, and the German Center for Gerontology in Berlin. Hannah J. Swift Ph.D., is a research fellow at the School of Psychology, University of Kent, from where she also completed her Ph.D., 2012, as an ESRC case grant holder in conjunction with Age UK. Her research focuses on ageism, attitudes to age, active aging and the consequences of age stereotypes. Aside from contributing to several reports for the UK government, the European Social Survey, Age UK and the Gerontological Society of America's policy briefings, her research has been published in journals including Journal of Gerontology, Psychological and Social Sciences, Psychology and Aging, Journal of Social Issues, BMJ Open, Journal of Applied Social Psychology and Social Issues and Policy Review. Her research thus far has been supported by funding from research councils, the government and NGOs from UK, EU and the USA. She is a core member of EURAGE, which contributed to the design and analysis of the Ageism module in European Social Survey and the UK's Age Action Alliance's Working Group on Attitudes to Age. Clemens Tesch Romer has Ph.D. in psychology. He has been a director of the German Center of Gerontology in Berlin since 1998 and an adjunct professor at the Free University of Berlin since 2003. He has been a member of the expert committees for the German government reports on older people in Germany since 1998. His current research interests include quality of life and well-being in old age, volunteering and civic engagement, health and health behavior, social relations and social integration of older persons and comparative aging research. He has served as a principal investigator of Cost Action IS 1402 Ageism, since 2014, German Aging Survey. DEIS, since 2001, German Volunteering Survey, FWS, since 2012, and Old Age and Autonomy. The Role of Service Systems and Intergenerational Family Solidarity, OASIS, 2000 to 2003. He has published 20 monographs and edited books and has more than 100 publications in scholarly journals and book chapters. From 2008 to 2010, he was president of the German Society for Gerontology and Geriatrics. And since 2015, he has been president of the International Association of Gerontology and Geriatrics, European Region, IAGGER. Ursula Trummer Ph.D., MSc, MA, obtained her Ph.D. in Sociology and Master's degree in Socioeconomic Sciences at the University of Vienna, Austria, and an MSc in Organizational Development and Counseling at the Sigmund Freud University Vienna. She is co-founder and head of the Center for Health and Migration, www.chm.com. Her main research interests are social determinants of health, access to healthcare for vulnerable groups, diversity management and methodological challenges of trans and interdisciplinary research. A recent focus of her work is on aging in immigrant populations and intergenerational family solidarity among migrant families. She is national delegate to the Cost Actions on Ageism, IS 1402, and on Intergenerational Family Solidarity, IS 1311. Ursula Trummer acts as project director of European and international projects and lectures at various universities, e.g. the Medical University of Vienna, Diversity in Medicine, Gender Medicine, and the Medical University of Graz, Public Health. She is an independent expert to the European Commission, the European Union Agency for Fundamental Rights and the Norwegian Research Council. Joost van Hoof Ph.D., MSc, Ing. Works as a research leader and associate professor in the field of design for healthcare with the School of Allied Health Professions of Fontys University of Applied Sciences in the Netherlands. Van Hoof attained his doctoral degree in 2010 from Eindhoven University of Technology with a dissertation on aging in place for people with dementia, awarded the certificate for best dissertation of the Department of Architecture, Building and Planning, and an MSc degree in Building Physics and Services in 2004. He also studied environmental engineering, mechanical engineering, at the Czech Technical University in Prague. He attained his Ing qualification from the European Federation of National Engineering Associations, FEANI, in 2007. Key to his work are inclusive and participatory design for older people, designing technologies and housing that stress the needs and abilities of people, not their limitations. For his work, Dr. Van Hoof won various international awards, including the Best Education Innovation Award by the Netherlands Association for Medical Education, the REHVA Young Scientist Award 2011 by the Federation of European Heating and Air Conditioning Associations, and the 2010 BJ Max Prize. He is a board member of various ISI journals on building, technology and healthcare. Moreover, he is board member of the Herman Boma Fund for Gerontechnologie Foundation and holds 2 membership positions of the board of directors within the domain of healthcare real estate. Kristen Melanie Vauclair is a researcher at the University ISCTEIUL, Center for Psychological Research and Social Intervention in Lisbon, Portugal. She holds a PhD in cross-cultural psychology, and her research focuses on identifying similarities and differences across different countries and cultures in regard to attitudes to age and the experience of ageism. She is a member of the European Research Group on Attitudes to Age. www.eurage.com, www.melanie-vauclair.com. Peggy Voss has MSc in Psychology. She is a doctoral student at the Department of Psychology of the Friedrich Schiller University Jena in Germany. She is part of the international and interdisciplinary research project Aging as Future, funded by the Volkswagen Stiftung. Her research interests are images of aging and their developmental outcomes, as well as age stereotypes and perceived age discrimination. Monica Wilinska, PhD, works as a senior lecturer at the School of Health and Welfare, Jönköping University, Sweden. Her research focuses on the practices and processes of inequality, reproduction across the life course and in various sociocultural contexts. She has extensive research experiences from countries such as Japan, Poland, Sweden and the UK. Monica's specific research interest is in the ways in which age and gender orders are being established, sustained and revised in everyday interactions, including encounters between clients and institutional health and welfare actors. She is a qualitative researcher with a strong background in discourse and narrative studies. Suzanne Worm, PhD, received her PhD in psychology at the Freie Universität Berlin and is currently a professor of psychogerontology at the Friedrich Alexander University, FAU, in Nuremberg, Germany. Her research areas are health and health changes in later life and the role of psychosocial resources therein. In particular, her research focuses on the impact of different views on aging for health and health behavior, adaptation processes after health events and the promotion of effective health behavior via interventions. She is editorial board member of the European Journal of Aging and Journal of Gerontopsychology and Geriatric Psychiatry. She is deputy president of the Health Reporting and Health Monitoring Committee of the Robert Koch Institute, member of a research network on images of aging funded by the German Research Foundation, DFG, member of the European Cooperation in Science and Technology, COST, network and co-chair of COST Workgroup 5 on internalized age stereotypes. Mary F. Wyman, Ph.D., received her doctorate in clinical psychology and neuroscience from Indiana University, Bloomington, USA, and received further training at the University of California, San Francisco. In 2015 to 2016, she was a visiting scientist at the University of Freiburg, Germany. Dr. Wyman's research seeks to achieve a better understanding of the relationship between psychological and physical health in older adults, with a focus on depression and dementia, and to address older adult-specific challenges within the healthcare system. She is a geriatric researcher with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs and an adjunct associate professor at the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and Public Health. Mark Zwamborn, MSc, holds an engineering degree in molecular sciences. He works as a project manager with Summa Healthcare of Summa College, a school for vocational education in Eindhoven, the Netherlands. He is the coordinator of various projects related to transitions in healthcare and the consequences to vocational education. The original version of this book was revised. An erratum to this book can be found at doihttps://doi.org/10.1007/978-3-319-73820-8_32.